So, G-Face, when a cop shoots you in the head, there's definitely intention. These guys are trained to shoot. They were trying to take you out of here, man. And you didn't have a pistol. You were running from them. And a law firm steps in, Bolden and Bolden, and says, "Hey, bro, you got a case here, man.
Yeah,
Let's sue the LAPD."
right. Well, just to backtrack a little bit,
We got G-Face from Trouble Gangster Crips. Thank you for coming through, man.
it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now, I want to shoot out OG Cartoon for connecting us.
It's all good. It's all good. You know, Cartoon reached out to me, and he was like, "Look, you got to go fuck with them," So here I am.
Right on, man. Now, G-Face, you're fresh out the pen. You're 6 months out from the penitentiary, federal pen.
Yes, sir.
How has life been adjusting to not only society, but now going on a media circuit and watching the internet? How do you feel about all the shenanigans and the soap opera that's been going online?
I can't say I agree with it. You know what I'm saying? It kind of just hit me out of nowhere. But, people, they respect authenticity. They respect realism. And as you can see, a lot of people been vouching for the things that I spoke on. But I'm transitioning back into society, taking it one day at a time, trying to build my business, build my name, build my brand. And, kind of redeem myself, because I done been through the ringer. I did a lot of bullshit, throughout my career.
And, the neighborhood you come from, started off as MBT, Nothing But Trouble. When did it transition from the Krylon cans as a tagging crew to the Glakishas and the whole, craziness of Crippin'?
I'm from 5-1 Trouble Gangster Crip. So my era, my age group, we wasn't there from the beginning. When we left, when Nothing But Trouble actually left Leimert Park. They left Leimert Park, and we settled in the 50s, in the 51st and Halldale area. I had a couple homies, Big Sebo, rest in peace, E-Bone, rest in peace. They stayed on 51st and Halldale, and that was like, I want to say 92, 93. They aligned themselves with a group called MLK, Mobbing Like Crazy, which is a Big Face, Dorian, a few other homies. They aligned themselves with the Nothing But Troubles, and they became Nothing But 5-1 Trouble Gangster Crip, Nothing But Halldale Trouble Gangster Crip. And we had to fight for that area over there, with our, with our brothers right now, which is the Five Deuce Hoovers, and I'm second generation of that wave.
Right. And your alliance with the Five Deuce Hoovers oftentimes has misconstrued the thought that the 5-1 Troubles are part of the Hoover car.
Right.
But you're your own standalone entity.
Yeah, in a sense, we are and we not, because you have some of my homies, when they go to prison, they align themselves with the Hoovers. And you got some homies that align themselves with the gangsters. I wouldn't say we were like confused, but it was a little confusion in there till we got on one page and Trouble stand alone.
MBT, when Nothing But Trouble, the tagging crew, didn't a lot of the members kind of fan out into different gangs?
Yeah, when they seen it, it became serious. They like, oh, these niggas out here banging now, like it's serious, We had our first conflict, with the 5-5s. They used to be hustlers, but they 5-5 neighborhood Crips. And once people seen it got serious, they went their own way. Like, nah, this shit right here too serious. People start getting shot, people start getting paralyzed, people start getting killed. They was like, we wasn't in this for this, because Trouble, they always been, Nothing But Trouble was like some fly dudes. They knew how to dress. They went to all the parties, they had all the girls, things like that. But when it became serious, a lot of people went their separate ways. First, shout out, my Uncle Burton from A-Tray Gangsters. Shout out Baby Lala from A-Tray Gangsters too. Lil Lala from A-Tray Gangsters. We had a crew called GMB, you know what I'm saying? DB, from A-Tray Gangsters. GU from Fire Trey Avalon. Lil Hitman from A-Tray Gangsters too. So we were known for being close to the freeway, running up in there, in and out that motherfucker with bags of money. So we go to Arizona, we go to Goodyear, Arizona to pass. We run up into Wells Fargo, cowboy style, blue bandanas on, khaki suits and chucks, pistols, the whole shit. I held the lobby down, and my co-defendant went to Mary, which was the branch manager, opened the vault. She took them back there and we loaded them bags up. We didn't really worry about the tellers, all the dye packs and the tracers and the bait bills and all that. We didn't worry about. We want the fresh money that's in that vault. Open this motherfucker up now. It was a guy. It was one of the people in the banks that was complying a little bit too much. Like he knew the routine. Which raised my antennas. It raised my antennas, and I made him prone out, and I searched him. And when I searched him, I felt something heavy. So I removed his weapon, and I had his badge. I took his badge, I looked at it, and it says Phoenix Police Department, Phoenix Police Officer, something to that, nature. And I took his badge and I put it in my pocket. Like, this is my badge, bitch. Now, as we're loading the money up to leave, I made him get on his hands and knees and put his hands behind his back. And the homie came and kicked him in his ass like a football, like he was kicking a goal. Kicking the football through the goal. It was a Tahoe outside awaiting us, and my unk, we got up out of there. The officer happened to run outside with his cell phone, and he called in the dispatch, got the description of the vehicle, and we jumped on I-10, I believe. We had a couple exits, till we got to our switch vehicle. And we was happy. We was in the car rapping, throwing up gang signs, we thought we had $1 million. There was so much money in there. The backpacks you couldn't even zip up. I actually dropped a brick of money on the way out the door, and I turned around and ran and grabbed it, and it was like a brick of all hundreds. So as we're on the freeway, on our way to our switch vehicle, the dispatch, was able to have an officer that was already on the freeway going to go do something else, pull over. And he pulled over and he jumped out of his car and he was waiting, looking at anything that fits our description. And when he seen us, he ran back to his truck and got in pursuit. We in this motherfucker screaming, we got to get away from this motherfucker. Like, bam, another one get on us. We finally ditched the police on the freeway. And I turned around and I looked and I said, oh, we on and we about to get away. So the whole time I'm like, shit, I'm about to jump out now. But he was going too fast. Burton from A-Tray Gangsters, he was swinging that motherfucker. He was swinging a little bit too hard. You know what I'm saying? Till we hit something. We hit something on the freeway and the truck rolled. Boom, 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 boom. You hear that, your head's you spinning right now, right? But I know we got to get up out of here because you can see the smoke of the vehicle, and the police is coming. So the homie pulled me out. I pulled the homie out, unbuckled his seatbelt, and as soon as the homie got up out that motherfucker and we grabbed the bag, it just boom, the whole truck blew up. So now we running through a field, and now it's the ATF out there, FBI, all the fucking police in the area had the whole area surrounded. They had guns on us. We will shoot. They was telling us they got the right to shoot if if we keep running. So we ended up going to the feds, turned up. We didn't give a fuck. We in court laughing, balling up paper, throwing it. We didn't give a fuck. One of the dudes deflected on us. He went the other way. And that just appeared. That's a period of my life that I can't relive no more. Well, it's different levels of incarceration. So whether you a kid, you go through the juvenile hall. You know, that's what you put on, that's where you fight your enemies on sight. But once you graduate to as an adult, you go to the LA County Jail, and you still might have to run phase with enemies. You know, it's gonna be casualties on both sides. You know, it's gonna be stabbings. You know, what I'm saying, it's gonna be broken bones. But once you get to the penitentiary, whether it's on the federal side or the state side, it get a little bit more about you know, your skin, the color of your skin. That's on the state side. Even though we still got our conflict in the state, it's you know, it's broke down in different cards, you know, depending on where you're from. However, you get to federal prison on the when you go to a USP, which is the United States Penitentiary, and it's dangerous. It's some of the most dangerous criminals in the country that's placed, you know, on 1 yard. You got the Bloods, you got the Crips, you got the GDs, you got the Vice Lords, you got the Mexican Mafia, you got the independent white boys, you got the AB, the Dirty South, and you got, you know, New York, the East Coast. So when you hit the yard there, all Crips is together. It's no factions broke down. Like, you might be on the yard with a couple of your homies from your hood, your immediate hood, but at the end of the day, Crip is Crip, and there's no separation. If you decide to go outside of that, you're gonna leave on a stretcher. And you know, we done been put in different group disturbances to where it was a 15 on 15 or a 20 on 10, and we all Crips, and we all out here stabbing people and getting stabbed, you know what I mean, getting stomped out and stomping people out. And at the end of the day, we end up in that shoe, in that hole, you know what I mean? And, you know, I gotta thank you for saving my life. And you from rolling 60s, you from 40s, or you from East Coast, you know what I'm saying? And that's how our brotherhood start. You know what I mean? Then we might end up in another spot together. The love I have for you, you know, is bulletproof. We was back here hungry together. We ate together. My perception of Crip kind of like changed a little bit.
Do you still maintain relationships with neighborhood Crips?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, it's well known your blood cousin is Brick Baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to Brick Baby.
Shout out to Brickavelli, man.
Shout out to Lil Sea Dog from 602.
Yeah.
Big Peanut, you know.
Now, you had a famous, not cellmate, but a gentleman that was celled up next to you, a Latino gentleman.
I believe you talking about when I was in Atwater, Lalo.
Yeah.
Lalo out of Compton. Yeah, he was a T-flat. Yeah. Very respectful, you know, carried himself like a man. You know, I don't really know too much, you know, about his political situation, but my interaction with him, my encounter with him, you know, it was 100.
Right. And when he hit the yard, when Lalo hit the yard, was that like a moment in time? Did people come to order?
Well, see, like I said, when you in the USP, United States Penitentiary, you got a level 4 prison, but I want to say that's like a level 5, you know, because it's a little bit more dangerous. You know, it's hitters from everywhere. And at the time, I was in up north in Atwater USP, and it was a disciplinary program. So everybody that was getting off the plane in the feds coming from the SHU or discipline spot. And I'm in the intake unit. The intake unit is a unit when you first get off the bus or the plane, they put you in this unit together, basically to see if you could make it there, you know, and then you go to your, you know, respective units. So as we're sitting there, a new bus come in, the door open, everybody's sitting up on the top tier like you know, like vultures, like, you know, like buzzards. You know, we looking like, who was that? Because everybody that get off that plane is not gonna make it. You know, so they tell you when you get to R&D, they like, hey, can you make it here? Are you safe here? Because if not, you know, you're gonna end up on that. You're gonna get airlifted. So when you walk out of R&D, you got the medical staff right there with the stretcher. You know, they got the, you know, the bags, everything. So we looking right, and as soon as the dude walk in, as soon as Lalo walked in, I noticed the shift in energy. You know, you see all the Southsiders, you know, fully blasted up, you know. You see them escorting him everywhere he go. To the shower, he's escorted. To the phone, he's escorted. Outside his cell was 2 different chairs, so he kept security. So, you know, I zoomed in and I kind of like checked him out or whatever, because that's what we do, you know. And I noticed the tattoo on his neck.
You knew he was a somebody.
Yeah, he was one of them boys.
You guys had a real cordial relationship, which is cool to hear. Yeah.
I mean, that's what neighbors do. You know, when you in prison, whether you're in the SHU, whether you in the hole, whether you're on the line, you know, you got a neighbor, you introduce yourself, you know. That's what you do.
Right.
You introduce yourself. You see if they need something as soon as they get there, no matter what race they are. You know, you can be white, Mexican, black, you know. You're here, so I know you straight. You know, so I'm gonna come check them, introduce myself. I'm gonna give you a care package, hygiene, whatever. If you're not a part of my car, of course I can't give you a weapon, but I'm gonna come introduce myself. And when I did that, you know what I'm saying, he appreciated that.
You spent a lot of time in 21 years of combined incarceration. A lot of that was in your youth.
Yeah.
At 16, you end up going to the big house with the adults.
At the time, I was turned up and out of control, so I wasn't really sweating it. It was kind of like a badge of honor to ask me. I was happy to go to the pen. I wanted to go to the pen. I couldn't wait to get to the pen, see what it was about.
It was a rite of
And
passage.
when I got there, it was kind of turned down. It wasn't really what I expected. I mean, you know, I held my own. You know, can't nobody say no busted shit about me.
The disrespect you're seeing out here, how are you taking this, you know, regarding people cutting you off, people bumping you and not saying excuse me? Just our society's become very rude.
Mm-hmm. I read a book called The 4 Agreements. And one of the agreements is to not take everything personal. And I had that issue. I've been battling that for a long time. I'm not gonna be disrespected, but I'm not gonna put myself in the situation to where I gotta hurt somebody. And all the disrespect that's going on, whether it's the internet, that's not my era. I don't believe in that. You know, we're not gonna go back and forth with the disrespect or none of that. You know, you pop it about me, 9 times out of 10 I might pop up on you. You know, and we can talk about it like men. You know, we ain't gonna do. I don't need an audience. You know, I don't need any of that.
It's a tough adjustment, man.
Yeah.
What kind of gives you a little PTSD? Like, is traffic bother you when you're sitting in traffic?
Yeah, because I'm always in my rearview mirror. I'm always in my wind. I'm always alert. I do like a scan. I scan my whole circumference everywhere I go. I don't care if I'm in traffic, I'm in Walmart, the liquor store, the gas station. I never pull up to a gas station to just get out. I have to scan the whole area and see if I notice any potential threats. The traffic is a little rough, but you never know who you're dealing with, though. You know, you never know with this person. So, you know, like I said, I try to be respectful. I try to be respectful because you never know what the next person gonna do.
And what about large crowds? Like, would you go into like a bar on a UFC fight night or?
No, it makes me nervous.
Yeah.
It makes me nervous because, you know, alcohol and foods don't mix. You know, it makes me nervous. I don't go to large events.
Have you always been like that?
No, hell no. I used to look for it. I want to go. They got Summer Jam, we up there deep. You know, skating ring, we up there deep. King Parade, we out there acting a fool. You know, but now I kind of feel like if I got to bring a gun, I don't want to go.
That's your policy.
If I have to bring a weapon, I don't need to be there.
Give us some of your affirmations. What are some things that your self-talk?
I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis.
I like that.
Yeah.
That affirmation creates the blueprint.
Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, I start getting phone calls and, you know, work orders here, work orders there.
Besides the book, 4 Agreements, what's in your Mount Rushmore for books that we must read?
Think and Grow Rich.
Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill. Think Like a Billionaire. Donald Trump. Sun Tzu, The Art of War.
That's always on the
Robert
list.
Greene, 33 Strategies of War. Andrew Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
That's a great list, man.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking into the youngsters in your neighborhood, do you provide a lot of mentorship to them and tell them how to move properly in the streets?
Not fully right now, but I do have a mentorship program and another nonprofit that I partner with, and that's the goal. I currently reach out to a few of my homeboys, you know, for sure. You know, shout out Baby Left Rad, shout out Ace Boy, you know, they're my little nephews, they're my homegirl Mila's sons and shit. They got a lot of nonprofits, a lot of mentorship programs for kids that's not even in the streets. You know, I want the ones that was like me. I want the ones that's already in the streets. You know, I'm 39, I've never been out of LA unless I've been in prison. You know, so I want to grab some of my little young homeboys and take them to San Francisco, take them to Arizona, you know, get on the plane, let's go to New York, you know. And you're already a gunner. You're already a gunner. You're already in these streets. You got, you know, you out here in the field, you know, earning your stripes, you know what I mean, making your name. Those the ones I want because it's not too late.
Why do you think it's so important to take someone out of their zip code? Does it give them different perspective on life?
Yeah, because we don't get out. You know, we boxed in, and you know, the streets, our sections got this gravitational pull that that tells us, you know, we gonna miss something if we leave, and we kind of scared to get out. You know, this is our comfort zone. You know what I mean? And just because you 16, 17 and you out here full-fledged banging, don't mean you don't need to experience life.
At 16, you were shot by the police, by LAPD, man. You got one in the head, you
Yes,
took
sir.
some in the chest,
Yes, sir.
and they tried to frame it as if you were pointing a weapon at them.
Yeah.
Can you explain how that was a complete fabrication?
See, back then when it happened in 2001. It happened October, the day before Halloween. You know, we were in the car, and you know, something happened, and we ended up going on a high-speed chase. We go on a high-speed chase. I kind of lose them, and I got rid of my firearm. So as I jumped out, my only thing is for me to get away. You know, that was the only thing on my mind, get away. As soon as we jumped out, LAPD got a thing. They had a thing for people, for gang members. You know, they was out to get, especially Crash. If you run, they gonna try to shoot you. If they can, they will. If they can catch you in the alley on the side of the house when nobody's looking, 9 times out of 10 they gonna shoot you. I was on foot. I was being pursued, and you know, they tried to kill me. Shot me in the head. Shot me 3 times in the chest. Laid me out. When I exited the vehicle, I kind of knew the possibility of, you know, me being shot at. And when I heard the first shot, I felt the impact on the back of my head. It spun me around. And as it spun me around, I hear the next shot. Boom, boom. And it went straight through me from this side to the other side. You know, got all the scars and everything, you know, that I look at every day, you know. You know, I thank my higher power, you know, that I'm still here. You know, that meant that the story wasn't over. I still have a lot more work to do here. So as it spun me around, and I fell in somebody's driveway, and I just crawled all the way to the back. I crawled all the way to the back. I'm looking for my homeboy. He's already gone. He already hit fences. I know for sure he heard the gunshots. So as I'm crawling, like I feel like I couldn't breathe because the bullets went through my lungs. I couldn't breathe. I was like, you know, heaving real hard, and then red foam started coming out of my mouth. And I felt like my whole head was hot. And I reached back there, and it wasn't right. So as I'm in the driveway crawling, my homeboy come back. I see him jump back over the wall. I'm looking right at him. But the whole time I got red foam coming out my mouth. And he comes and hold me, kind of cradle me in his lap. And he tell me, hold on, cuz, like, come on, cuz, like, hold on, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You good. You know what I'm saying? I just told him, like, I said, I'm finna die, Trub. You know what I mean? I'm finna die. And once he starts screaming, the helicopter's looking for us now. The helicopter looking for us. He's circling. You hear all the sirens in the background. And he jumps out. He jumps up to the helicopter, and by now, like, I'm losing conscious. The only thing I remember is they rushing back there with guns, you know. But if it wasn't for that helicopter that was shining that light and the neighbors looking, they probably would have killed both of us back there. I remember them putting me on a stretcher and cutting my clothes off. Took my jewelry. I woke up in ICU. I was on life support. Yeah, I was 16, you know, and it was a law firm that actually did the investigation and seen that I didn't have a gun at the scene, and they had no proof that I pointed a weapon at them. And when they did the investigation, I was running. How the bullet struck me, I was running away. So there's no way I could have turned around and pointed a weapon at the cops like this when I was running this way. So I had a big lawsuit on my hands, and I ended up going to jail while the lawsuit was pending. You know, it was getting all the paperwork together, and I was so engulfed in this, this G code, this gangster lifestyle, to where I thought telling was telling, and they wanted me to testify on an officer at court in order for me to win this lawsuit. And snitching is snitching. I don't care if you telling the police, I don't care if you telling your enemy, the G code is the G code, and you had to stand by it. That was my thought process. So I decided to opt out of the lawsuit, and I told them I didn't want to be a part of it.
So you were,
and I could have been a millionaire right now.
I was gonna say
multi-millionaire. My family was so mad at me. I could have been rich right now.
Right.
But you live and you learn.
Now tell me a little bit about the book that you're going to pen about your life that will eventually be adapted to a screenplay. Are you journaling a lot of your life events right now?
Yeah, I am. But it's starting from the beginning, all the way from 1988, when I was, taken from my mother, placed in an orphanage, and foster homes throughout South Central. And I was never able to get out those foster homes. It was always uncomfortable and, an unhappy time in my life to where I had to turn to the streets. I turned to the streets and, it gave me what I was looking for. It gave me that, that structure that I never had because I was always bouncing around from different homes, So we're gonna start there, and I'm gonna take you through a trip through the halls and through California Youth Authority, and losing homies and death, all the way up until I made a conscious decision that I was done with incarceration.
Is this the longest you've been out?
I'm damn near neck and neck to where the longest, but that's not the point. The point is I haven't committed a crime.
We had a lady on the show, Master Maggie, and she grew up in the foster care system back east. And she was saying that system is so wrought with fraud and corruption and abuse. Did you see a lot of abuse in the foster care system? Yeah. Can you speak on
I had a family that loved us, and that treated us like family, and I still consider them family to this day. It was just kind of hard back then, it was kind of hard back then because I only had like 1 or 2 pair of pants, while other kids got on Jordans and, Nikes and stuff. And I got Payless shoes on with holes in them, and, hungry. They had a lock on the refrigerator, a chain and a lock on the refrigerator. Forced to eat oranges for lunch, oranges for breakfast, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was kind of hard. 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, eating out of trash cans in the kitchen, going through the kitchen. I smelled Popeye. Well, they had fried chicken. I'm eating the scraps. So I did sustain a little bit of abuse, you know what I mean? I was never stable. I'd be in this foster home, I'd be in this group home, I'd be in this foster home, this group home, I'd be in everybody's hood. So, I'm familiar with the whole South Central, going through several elementaries and several middle schools. Back then it was middle school / junior high, different high schools and stuff.
Did you ask yourself, why me?
Nah, I mean, I do now, but I appreciate, I actually embrace what I've been through because I'm a father now and a grandfather. So I know what I was lacking back then, and whatever I missed and whatever I didn't get, I make sure I give it to them, especially quality time, A lot of the times that's what we wanted, man. And I had to go to my 5th grade graduation by myself, I had to graduate from middle school by myself with no family or support there. So I'm kind of like a loner though. Like I kind of like do things, by myself. I'm really at peace when I'm by myself, you know what I mean? But I did sustain a lot of neglect, you know what I mean, coming up.
You mentioned your struggle is an important part of your story. If you didn't go through it, you wouldn't have become the man you are today.
Right. I appreciate the small things. Like, I appreciate, getting dressed now. I can put on whatever I want to, any type of outfit I want. I can actually afford it, I had a thing to where when I was a kid, I used to want the Jordans, all the Jordans that come out. And I was with a particular foster family that was wealthy, but never bought us anything. Like I said, I had 1, 2 pair of pants. This particular family, like, they drove nice cars, big 5, 6 bedroom, and they had jewelry and nice things in the house. And they bought their extended family the things that we wanted for Christmas. Like the Jordan 11s, the breads that came out in '95, I wanted those, and I swear I just knew that my name was gonna be on that box under that Christmas tree for as a present of mine, you know, as a gift. And it wasn't mine. It belonged to somebody that didn't even live in that house. So now I have all the Jordans that ever came out. I have the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, the 6s, and I haven't even worn them yet.
No, your shoe game is ridiculous now, right?
Yeah, I haven't even worn them yet. And my son, you know, he don't understand that with the things that he wear, I didn't have. You know, I didn't have. I couldn't just go to Chick-fil-A, or, you know, my lunch was in an orange tree, a lemon tree. You know, loquats in South. If you ever been to LA in South Central, we had a tree called loquats. It was a fruit that was bomb, you know.
It's a little yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's like in the plum family or something, but yeah, you know, you go to school with a pocket full of them. And we had lunch tickets, you know, get full at school before you come back home.
Why do you think that foster family, they blessed their extended family, but they neglected you? Was that like a tough love thing, or they were just cheap that way, or?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Did they show you love in other ways? Like, did they?
No.
No?
Hell no.
You were just like an
Hell
unwanted
no.
guest, basically.
We went to school with bowl cuts. I'm talking about I had the cleanest bowl cut in the school. It wasn't even attempted to be faded. That motherfucker
was a straight scissor cut.
It was a straight line around. Like, that shit was so embarrassing.
Did you ever give up on yourself at one point? Did you say, fuck this place?
Yeah.
Did you have fatal thoughts of suicide at any?
No suicide, but it was just, I'm all in, I don't give a fuck.
You were just turned up.
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck. I'm all in. Like, look at me. Like, you had to be all in like this. These ain't no basketball tattoos. All these tattoos earned one by one.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I had the attitude of fuck it. I really didn't give a fuck.
In terms of the face tattoos, are you gonna get some of those removed?
Yeah, the process already started. I go every week. I went for my first session about a month and a half ago. Matter of fact, the same day I did the no jumper interview, I went that day. So you go every 8 weeks, you know what I'm saying? It hurt like hell.
Is it hurt worse than getting the tattoo?
10 times worse. 10 times worse. All your body parts just start jerking out of nowhere. You know, I'm sweating thinking about it again. But I go again next month. And the thing about it though, I gotta sell myself, you know. I gotta sell myself. I deal with a lot of customers, I deal with different people. And you know, presentation is everything. You know, presentation is everything. So I advise, you know, the youngsters that I be meeting that come to prison. As soon as they get there, you know, they looking for the tattoo man. They looking for some weed, some cigarettes, some drugs. You know, they come in looking clean. They come out a week later, all hit up like me. Didn't earn not one of them. You know, you ain't stabbed nobody in here. You haven't been to the shoe. You don't have no assaults on you have no assaults on correctional officers. You know what I mean? You got all these enemies crossed out, and you in here for domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? So I just, you know, like I said, presentation is everything, and I just don't want to be a part of that wave no more. You know, I go to the gas station, you might see the cashier tatted up. You're like, damn, I see cops tatted up now, all on their neck, head, everything, you know? So, yeah, I don't want to be a part of that, man. And I'm in transition, so I'm rebuilding myself. You know, I want to be able to put a suit on one day.
Society has kind of changed a little bit about tattoos.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little better, but I understand you want to not intimidate people, and when they see you, they probably have a low-key judgment on who you might be or what your backdrop is.
Absolutely, yep. And I do a lot of properties residentially. So I deal with a lot of homeowners, you know, that have to let me into their homes. You know what I mean? And I don't want you looking at me sideways. I don't want you putting cameras around if I'm working in the living room. You know, but I'm genuinely like I'm a warm person, you know. And like I said, I go off vibes and energy, and some people do too. So you meet me, we have a conversation. You know, my past really don't have anything to do with how I get down now. And most people If you have a good judgment of character, you can see that. Like, you know. But like I said, a lot of people let me into their homes. I got to deal with a lot of people, you know, of different ethnic backgrounds, you know, and I just want to present myself, you know, in the right way. If I don't got these tattoos on, I got a hat and I got my work clothes on, you know, it kind of make your customer, you know, a little bit more comfortable.
Right. But when they feel that your energy, I think you can disarm that very quickly.
Yeah.
That initial judgment, that first impression.
Hey, I've had people tell me, like, I didn't even notice the tattoos, you know, like we became friends, or, you know, they referred me to other jobs. I'd be like, yeah, such and such referred me to you, said you had a lot of tattoos on, but the way you carry yourself, I didn't even notice them. So, you know, it all depends.
Right. No, that's awesome, man, that you have your own business and you're helping other guys get a second crack at life, a second chance, man. And that business is flourishing, and it's a very good business. A lot of your business is going into houses that people are hoarders. It's a real sickness. People stack up magazines, clothes, crap.
Rats, roaches, cats, feces, you know, all that stuff.
It's crazy.
I've encountered like some of the worst aromas that you could actually think of.
What do you think the psychology of hoarding is? Like, what's the deal? Like, people that hold on to, they get so emotionally attached to crap.
I think it's drugs, because, you know, you come across pipes and needles.
Okay.
And a lot of these places, like, people like are squatting on these properties.
Okay.
You know, they just, and they're being put out, like, you know, they done had the marshal come out and you got to go. And you have to go within an hour. So whatever you can't take with you is going to be locked in. It's called a shut-in. So, you know, people like me come through and do the remediation.
And you're in a biohazard suit. Do you wear a big old face mask with the
P100?
Yeah. So it's some nasty shit.
Yeah. But sometimes those face masks, like, you can't really breathe in them. So sometimes you just got to endure the, you know, the smell.
Would you ever use smelling salts or something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it gets nasty.
Yeah. I have all that stuff in my truck.
Yeah,
you know, sometimes you just gotta put that suit on and get to work, no matter what it smell like.
Right.
You know, you gotta get in and out.
And that one story you said where the toilet bowl was filled with feces to the rim.
Yeah, and I know people, you probably think, oh yeah, just remove the whole toilet, but you can't, because this toilet has to go to the landfill, and there's certain things that can't go to the landfill. That's considered hazardous material. So you have to remove all the feces.
Ooh.
Can you just imagine the stench from layers and layers stacked up to the rim?
That's rough. Have you ever seen like a decomposed body or?
Not yet.
Ooh.
Not yet, but the pay is well, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got probably some crime scene stuff coming up on the books.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm licensed to do decompositions, homicide, suicide, unattended death, shootings.
You got to have a stomach for that.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen a lot of shit in your life, so it's another day in the office for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a great business. See, a lot of people get caught up on rapping and you know, being influencers. Mm-hmm. But the businesses that make money are the ones that are fundamental.
Right.
You know? And it's no more fundamental than cleaning up a
and it's not biohazard cleaning is not controlled by no local, state, or federal you know, anything. You just have to learn how to clean. You know, even though we adhere to OSHA regulatory standards, you don't have to have a degree, you don't have to have no certifications, and then you just have to have the basic understanding of cleaning. You know.
When you were in prison, did you look at other trades, or was that how'd you stub your toe on that business?
Every time I turned the TV, my TV on, is a shooting taking place, a killing taking place, a crime taking place. You know what I mean? So I was just like, damn, what could I come up with to stay out of prison? And I went at the crime scene cleanup at first, but then I looked at the housing market, how at that time, interest rates was like at an all-time low, and now it's like at an all-time high. So these people that bought these houses, remember when it dropped around COVID, they're not gonna be able to keep up with this home in a few years. So here comes a wave of foreclosures. You know, here comes everybody losing these properties, and it's sad to say that. I don't wish that on nobody, but instead of going at crime scene cleanup, I was looking at how can I contact these banks, you know what I'm saying, to clean these properties before they put them back on the market. So we went into biohazard cleaning / property preservation. So anything to preserve these properties before putting them back on the market, whether it's foreclosed or reverse mortgage, you know, I felt like it was gonna be working there. And people that get put out their properties, they so mad, they trash the place and they leave it how it is, you know, which makes room for us to come through and, you know, get a check.
So you analyzed and foreshadowed what the market would look like, and you found a need.
Yeah.
And
From a cell phone in prison.
That's
like, I didn't really
impressive.
worry about social media. I didn't worry about nothing. Like, I got on that cell phone and I studied and I did research and I did information and I learned about the stock market, opened up a Charles Schwab account, a brokerage account, learned about cryptocurrency. You know, I still hold crypto. I still have shares, you know. Got on there and, you know, did like Zoom meetings and, you know, watch tutorials, you know, just how to to learn how to do the stuff that I'm doing right now. I did it right there from a jail cell. You know, it's my first time actually working, you know, first time actually making an honest dollar. You know, I was always for the quick come up, a robbery, you know, always was a stick up kid, smash and grab, you know, sneak and geek, you know. But now, you know, I'm actually doing what I learned to do from prison, you know, whether it's tile installation, window installation, you know, tree cuts and things of that, you know, of that nature, man. Yeah.
Sounds like you used your prison time to really better yourself. A lot of self-development.
And it wasn't to get out. You know, a lot of people go through all these reentry programs or, you know, the second chance act and, you know, whatnot or whatever. Mine was personal. You know, mine was personal. It was behind closed doors, you know. My self-help was real. Like, I wasn't doing no classes to get time off or none of that. You know, I wasn't calling and making phone calls, begging or, you know, bugging people. You know, I didn't call nobody. I didn't ask nobody for nothing. I made sure that this time I did, it was gonna be the hardest, you know, and I was gonna go through it and I was gonna miss my family, you know, and I was gonna make the decision to, you know, transition. So
Right.
yeah.
When a man is right, his world is right. The money must feel better that it's legitimate, you're paying taxes on it, your world is right. What's some advice you can give to young gentlemen coming up in the world?
Learn. Just learn. Just don't limit yourself. You know, keep your options open. You know, read Rich Dad Poor Dad. You know, don't never say I can't afford something. Tell yourself, how can I afford it? How can I afford this? You know, that was one of the lessons that I learned in there when he was Robert Kiyosaki was talking about how he had a rich dad and a poor dad, and he wanted an airplane, I believe, or something. And his rich dad was like, "We can't afford that." You know, and that's the lesson that I learned too. And I try to teach my son the same thing. You know, don't say you can't afford something or we don't have enough money for this. Ask yourself, how can you afford it? You know, and because he says once you say you can't do something, your brain shut down. It's shut down. No options are available. But if you ask yourself, how can I afford this? Your brain will start filtering like, you know, different ways you can actually attain that. So, you know, don't close yourself out, you know what I mean?
Right.
And just learn. Like, you know, the market, the world is constantly evolving every day, you know, and it's, don't look for that overnight, that get rich quick scheme, you know. Learn something, put the work in, and watch it grow.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
limit your beliefs.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I feel that, man. That's a great gem you dropped.
Don't go with the how to flip your money on Cash App, how to turn $100 into 10,000. No, that's bullshit. Put your work in, learn, stay, you know, you're gonna take some losses, you know, but the wins is gonna outweigh the losses, man.
How can our audience tap in with you? Are you on social?
Yeah, right now they could tap in with my Instagram, Band Dogs for Life, BandOGS Number 4, life. Band Dogs for life.
Band Dogs.
Yeah, you can see a picture of me up there.
All right, man. We're gonna
Yep,
tap
you can reach
in.
out. Yep.
And G-Face, we want to thank you again for blessing us with your story, bro. Keep up the hard work, man. We're
Yep.
rooting for you.
Yep, the pleasure is mine, man. Appreciate you.